Canada is generally safe and welcoming country than any other countries. It is not immune to problems or negative aspects. But still there you will face some issues and challenges in Canada which I'll talk about today. So without any further ado, let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Joy and today I'll talk about 5 issues and challenges you will face if you are coming to Canada. The first issue I'll talk about is the Indigenous issues. Canada has complicated issues with its Indigenous people, and the mistreatment and systematic discrimination against them have been well documented. There are ongoing issues with the access to clean water, housing, and other basic services on reserves, as well as the ongoing effect of residential schools, forced assimilation, and other policies that have been impacted Indigenous community. Despite positive measures taken by Canada, Indigenous people continue to face obstacles to fully enjoy their individual and collective human rights in the country. Canada is significantly contributing its greenhouse gas emission, and its government has been criticized for not doing enough to combat climate change. The country has also faces environmental issues such as deforestation and population in certain areas. The scientific evidence is clear that the Earth's climate is warming. Since the 1950s, many of the observed changes has been unpredictable over decades to millennia. In Canada, these changes including rising the temperature, shifting rainfall patterns, and increases in certain types of hazardous weather. Climate change is primarily attributed to the accumulation of greenhouse gas, which traps heat in the atmosphere and causes a warming effect. This warming effect depends on the total amount of GHGs accumulated in the atmosphere, the time that they remain in the atmosphere, and each GHGs capacity to trap heat. In 2014, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change concluded that it is extremely likely that human influence has been dominant cause of the observed warming since the mid-20th century. Third one, I'll talk about the income inequality in Canada. Concern over rising inequality have heightened in the years following the 2007 to 2009 global financial crisis and more recently with the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite Canada's reputation for social program and strong middle class, income inequality remains a significant issue. The country has high poverty rate, particularly among single-parent families and Indigenous people. The fourth one I'll talk about is the racism in Canada. While Canada is viewed as a multicultural country and tolerant society, racism and discrimination remains a pervasive issue. Recent events such as the discovery of unmarked graves at former residential schools have highlighted the ongoing impact of colonialism and systematic racism against the Indigenous people. Black people have been in Canada since the early 17th century. Throughout their 400-year history in Canada, black people have been faced racism, discrimination, and hostility based on the color of their skin. Anti-black racism refers to their attitude, belief, and stereotyping, discrimination, and prejudice targeted at the people of African descent. The roots of anti-black racism are found in enslavement and its legacies. This is based on the information which I get from the internet. Being in Canada as an Indian, I never faced racism in these 2 years. The last point I'll talk about is the mental health in Canada. Mental health issues are significantly concerned in Canada, with high rates of depression, anxiety, and other mental disorders. Access to mental health care can also be a challenge, particularly in rural and remote areas. Canadians affected with mental illness may not be able to cope with the simplest aspect of everyday life. They may need help to regain a healthy emotional balance in their life. Mental illness usually begins during adolescence and young adulthood. However, mental illness can be experienced by people of their ages, of cultures, from all educational level or from all income levels. This kind of mental illness is not the same as feeling distress because of normal reactions to difficult situations such as the death of a loved one or job loss, a romantic breakup, or can be a sudden changes of circumstances like moving a new area, attending to a new school, or going through a divorce. Most of us able to regain control of our life after a difficult situation, but those with mental illness feel distress regularly. They may feel powerless to regain control. The main causes for this illness, I feel like whatever I've seen in Canada, most of the people are living alone here. In the age of 60-70 years, they are living alone, maybe if they have a family also, they don't live with the family. So for this reason, I feel like people are getting mentally too much ill. So these are the 5 issues and challenges you will face if you're coming to Canada. I'm not demotivating anyone to come to Canada, but these are the main 5 things you will face, and this is the reality. If you think the video was informational, then make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel if you are new. See you in the next video. Peace.